Welcome to Ben and Gary's.
Here's the scoop.
Today we're going to talk about the home buying process and kind of demystify what that looks like.
The first step is just finding the right agent for the job.
The biggest thing about buying a home is it can be super stressful and it can be very hard. There's a lot of pitfalls that can come along. And I know Aunt Jenny means well, and she probably did an amazing job buying her house in 1995. But the market has changed, and the laws and the processes have changed. So you really need to find the right agent who can walk you through the process and make sure you don't fall in a pit somewhere and you'll actually close the property that you're wanting to buy. The next portion of the process is getting pre-qualified for a home loan. Now on this portion, Ben and I are not lenders by any stretch of the imagination, so we can't really give you good information on what it looks like to actually get pre-qualified for a home loan. We know the process is going to involve you filling out an application with the lender, but that's about the extent of our depth. What we are going to do for this process, though, is we are going to find a few lenders that we've worked with in the past who have done excellent jobs for us and who have a above and beyond customer service experience, and we are going to interview them for you so that you can see how different lenders are going to process your loan and get you pre-qualified.
Yeah, finding a right lender is also a very important key to starting the process of finding a home, because certain lenders can only do certain things.
Absolutely.
Other lenders cover different things.
Some people are better at other things, so you got to find the person who works for your situation. So if you're buying a home to live in, you're going to be in a different category than if you're buying a home as an investment property. So we can get you connected with the right people, though. That is not something to worry about. The next portion of the process is once you're pre-qualified, you know how much you can spend and what type of home you want, obviously. It's finding that perfect home.
I would say give the agent that you have in mind a call, meet them at their office, and talk through the process and how they work, see if that works for you as well. Absolutely.
Now, Ben, disagree with me here if you think I'm wrong, but a lot of times when we're dealing with clients seem to treat it as though it's a car lot situation where it's us against them.
Yep.
In that situation, they're very guarded, standoffish. They don't want to share too much information because they don't know that we're working for them. At the end of the day, it is our goal to make your dream come true. We have no stake in this. So as open and honest as you are with us about what you're looking for and what you're needing, the better we are going to do at finding the right property to match your criteria.
Yeah, because, if you don't say what you're looking for exactly, you can go and look at 20 homes and not find the right one. It's good for us to ask as many questions as possible so we can narrow it down and get you in the right house quicker, because homes sell quick.
And it's going to be a process. We'll refine the process as we're going through it. But the biggest thing is getting a good starting point and then starting looking at houses. And then from there, we'll be able to dwindle it down and actually build the process to where we're actually directly targeting houses that you love.
It could take you a few to realize, hey, I actually want this in my house. And then you just let us know and we narrow it down, figure out houses that match your current criteria.
Absolutely.
People's minds change.
Absolutely. So once we have found the perfect house, that's when things start getting exciting. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So the next portion of the process is actually going under contract for the perfect home. What that looks like is you are going to tell your agent how much you're willing to spend for the property and what type of loan, which is going to be defined by the lender, we're going to be purchasing the house with. Unless you have a lot of money and you're just going to be paying cash, in which case this process will be super easy, I promise.
Real.
Cash is always king. Why is it doing fireworks again?
I don't know. It does weird stuff sometimes.
Well, okay then. So with the writing of your actual offer, what we would do at that point is there's some key factors that we're going to determine. One of those factors is we are going to determine who is going to be processing the transaction for us. There are title companies in every area of Missouri that their whole goal is once you're under contract, they research the property and determine if there are any past loans, if there are any judgments or liens against the property.
If it's actually that person's place as well.
That's true. You definitely don't want to buy a property from Bill if it belongs to Ted.
Yep.
That excellent catch. Good job. Hey, that was actually a good high five too. We're getting better at life. That's all there is to it. So the title company is actually going to process the transaction once we go under contract. And in the contract, you are actually going to put the title company that you would like to use. Now, occasionally the seller is going to have preference on that, and they're going to counter or say no. But to start out with, we're going to make that request from the very beginning. Now, we are going to probably interview a few of the title company people as well, just so you can hear firsthand how their processes work, and you can get an idea of which title company is going to work best for you. Because again, it's just like the agent. Not all title companies are the same. They all have fairly similar work, but you're going to be dealing with people. And so the people that you're going to be dealing with is important to know. That way your choice is based off of something that will work well for you.
Yeah, I think personality really matters.
It does.
In picking who you're working with. And that goes for agents, lenders, title company, everyone involved, really. You want someone that clicks with you.
Absolutely. The other part of the transaction is in Missouri there is a inspection period.
Yep.
And so part of that inspection period is going to define how quickly we need to get the inspection done and get a inspection notice turned in to the listing agent. In Missouri, usually it's 10 days. A lot of times we'll stretch that out to 15 just to make sure we can get somebody in there. There are a lot of good inspectors in this area. And again, not our area of expertise, but we're going to find a couple of those people who are willing to do interviews with us. Now, a lot of times my experience with inspectors is they don't really like to be in front of people. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So we may have some trouble finding this person, but we're going to do our best, and we're going to make sure you get an interview from somebody.
And, there's certain inspectors in the area that they really go in depth, and then there's others that kind of skim, I would say. So finding the right inspector matters. Finding the right person for everything matters. I guess.
Benji's just going to keep repeating the same sentence over and over again until the series is over. So once we've had the inspection done, we will do an inspection notice where we tell the other agent, hey, these are the things that have to change in order for us to continue. Or maybe it's a situation where we did the inspection and we found out that the entire place is caving in and it's on a mine shaft and it is an absolute nightmare of a situation. And that gives us an opportunity to leave the contract.
As a buyer as well, I'm always going to suggest do an inspection. That's the only way you're going to know what is wrong with this house. Also, when you find the inspection back, I'm going to suggest we look for the big major repairs. If there's a loose screw, I'm probably not going to ask for it to be tightened. I would say look for the big stuff. Ask for all the big stuff.
Very good point. So that would conclude the inspection portion of the transaction. Next, your lender is going to ask for an appraisal. What an appraisal is a appraiser comes in and they do a valuation of the property based off of similar properties. So they're not going to compare a one-bedroom house on a 1/10 of an acre to a 15-bedroom, 25-bathroom mansion on 50 acres with a pool in the bathroom, a pool outside, and a pool in the living room. Like, they're not going to compare that. They're going to compare apples to apples. So they're going to find a property that matches what we're looking at, and they're going to say, based off of the sales that have occurred in the last 6 months to a year, this is what we would value the property at. That's going to get sent back to the lender. Now, another thing that can happen at this point as well, if there are criteria for the loan that the lender requires, the appraiser can then hit those items and say, hey, this has to be repaired per the loan. So government-based loans are very common. This happens.
Hand railing, stuff like that. It's going to be pointed out on the government loan.
And it's usually another situation where we have a conversation with the other parties, and we figure out how to make it work. Sometimes it doesn't work. Again, this is another situation where we try to find a solution, and if we're unable to find a solution, we have an option to leave. Options to leave are not our first choice, though,
No,
are they?
they're
We're always going to
last.
try to find a solution.
Yeah, always. If you cannot find a solution, which there are times you cannot find a solution, but most of the time there's a solution to be had. You just have to find out what it is.
Absolutely. So once the appraisal's done, the process is basically over.
Yeah,
We will do a final walkthrough within the last 4 days of closing.
that's to make sure repairs and stuff like that have all been made correctly, so you can close.
There isn't somebody who's squatting in the house.
But yeah,
That's
homeless
another
people.
good thing you got to look for, because the last thing you want to do is close on a property and find out there's been somebody living there for 6 months and now you have to evict them.
Yep.
Nightmare. Not a good thing. So we'll do a final walkthrough that verifies that everything is done. The next step of the process then is for the lender to finish their underwriting and everything like
Yeah.
that. And they give you what's called a clear to close. Benji, what's a clear to close? What does that mean?
It means you're clear to close.
Man, you broke that down so well.
I know.
I figured you'd like define clear and define to and define close.
Clear means see-through.
In this case, that's not what it means.
Clear to close basically means that you have done all the steps in order to close. Even though you might be clear to close, it could still be a couple days before you actually close. But it means that all of the stuff's in order to close.
Right.
No more hurdles at that point, pretty much.
Once you have clear to close, the title company is then going to set a date. The parties will come together, most likely in person. You can do it virtual. There's all kinds of options for how we can make this work. You don't have to be in Missouri to close a property in Missouri,
Yeah,
correct?
and different title companies have different options as well.
Yeah.
At this point in time, there's people that can do virtual, online. There's title companies that will literally come to where you're at and close.
We literally closed one last year
Yeah,
at the person's new home,
and then
and as soon as they got done closing, they jumped in the pool.
yeah, I remember
That was a pretty cool
Yep.
deal. I'll post that video for you again because you'll love it. Hi, Hayden and Maddie. Hope you love your new house. So once we have clear to close, we'll go to the title company. They'll sit down. There's a lot of documents to
Yeah.
sign, especially if you're using a lender, because the lender has documents that protects them. At that time, depending on possession, there's occasions where possession is continued over. Usually, you will get the keys to your new home as soon as you sign the paperwork at closing. And then you go take over your house and move in and get everything ready to go.
Yep.
What happens after that, Benji?
You're probably going to get a thing in the mail asking how much you paid for your house. Yeah, you don't have to answer that. That's just the city trying to find out how much you paid so they can tax you. So don't fill it out.
The tightwad has spoken. Don't fill it out. Make them reassess.
Yes. Well, in Missouri, what you pay for your house is not openly disclosed.
That's true. Benji has imparted some very good knowledge to you today. You do not have to disclose that, so when they send you that document, it's going to look like you're required to do it, but you are not. Missouri is not a disclosure state.
Which means if your neighbor said he sold his house for $350,000, he probably sold it for $225,000. It's true. I run into it. It happens all the time.
I don't know what brought that up, but okay.
I've heard the talk.
Another thing you're going to be getting is a lot of warranty programs who are saying that people have sent you their information. This also is not true. When you record that deed, a lot of these places like security companies for alarm systems, warranty companies for homes, they see that information pop up on the state documents, and so they automatically start trying to reach out to you.
Another thing is sometimes you'll get a packet that looks like it actually came from your lender after closing, when it might not have. If you receive something, call your lender afterward and
Yes.
make sure it's actually from them.
Your agent will be able to help you with that as
Yep.
well. For us, we are building programs so that we continue to stay connected with our clients, our past clients. It's something we've
Yep.
been terrible at in the past,
Definitely.
and we are going to grow in that.
Progress.
So that's basically the process.
Yeah, I think we hit all the points. If you have any questions, shoot us a comment, shoot us a text, and
Give us a call.
We'll clarify. Give us a call. and we'll do our best to clarify on what we might have missed. I'm pretty sure we hit it all on the head, though. So
I'd like to hit you on the head.
a lot of people would.
Well, this has been Ben and Gary's. Who
Here's
is
the
that
scoop.
weird girl?
Is that the leprechaun?
Yeah, she's short enough to be the leprechaun. This has been Ben and Gary's.
Here's the scoop.
Have an amazing day, everybody. Welcome to Ben and Gary's.
Here's the scoop.
Today we're going to go through the home buying process and kind of demystify what goes on during the purchase of a home.
Am I supposed to say what's... I think we already need to restart.
I think we already need to restart.
This is going great. The first step is find the right agent.
That's all you have to say about that?
That starts with giving me a phone call.
In this process, the biggest thing that you want to do, it can be we're going to start over because this is jacked up.
I'm telling you, it's the script.
Well, you just do what you did this time and I'll make it better. But the point is, we know what let's go back to the beginning of that. Take 2. Part 2. We speak.
And what type of loan, which is going to be defined by the lender, we're going to be purchasing the house with. Unless you have a lot of money and you're just going to be paying cash, in which case,
This process will be super easy, I
Yeah.
promise.
Real.
Cash is always king. Why is it doing fireworks again?
I don't know. It does weird stuff sometimes.
Well, okay then.